Welcome to the Bath Fizz and Foam YouTube channel. My name is Robyn French Smith, and today we're going to talk about Soapy sponges. Now, Soapy sponges is a newish ebook that we have from Bath Fizz and Foam. It is our only free ebook we have ever done. And it's pretty cool because it's like 20-something pages, like 27 pages, maybe 28. 30? I don't know. But it's a bunch of pages. It's not a short one. Just because we were like, oh, we're going to make this free. We didn't skimp out on you guys. We added everything, okay? Because I wanted you to know everything. Actually, I did want you to know everything because most of our followers in Bath Fizz and Foam are cosmetic makers. And there's a lot of people in that group who have never made cold process soap. So this was one of those things where I was so nervous to do this. And I debated for a long time because there's so much free information, good information about making cold process soap out there. So I definitely had moments when I was working on this ebook, which took me about 6 or 7 months, by the way. I definitely had moments where I really questioned, like, am I doing too much? Am I not doing enough? And so I do a very brief and quick rundown of how to make cold process soap. If you need more information, and who doesn't, you can check out Love and Soap Studios. We also have the Soap Challenge Club, Saponification Nation. We have a lot of resources for you. So yeah, but in this bucket, I am weighing out by grams my hard oils for this recipe. This is a very simple recipe. This is the recipe that's included in the ebook because, like, you don't need a fancy recipe. But basically, it's 66%. No, that's not what it is. It's it's 33% coconut, 33% palm oil, and 33% probably olive oil, if I had to guess, maybe avocado oil. So I weighed those out, and then I am melting them in my microwave right now. Into that container on the right, I poured just distilled water. With my bar soap, I will add like other things to the water, but we're going to keep it really basic and really simple for this. So I had distilled water, and then right now what I'm weighing out is my sodium hydroxide lye. This is a caustic substance. You need to use protection and use caution when you're using it, but it can be used safely. We use it safely all the time, and it's just one of those things that, read all the facts about it, read all the safety information, and then don't be afraid of it. And wear safety gear. I have my nitrile gloves on, I have long sleeves, I have on my face, I'm wearing an eye mask, and I'm probably wearing a ventilator as well, just because my shop is small. So I added my lye to my water, and then I dissolved it, and it is now cooling down. When you add the lye to your water, it will hit temperatures of like 200 degrees Fahrenheit. So it gets very hot very fast, which is why you always do A and W, the alkali, which is the lye, into the water, A and W. Yep. And then I added my oils, and basically I made it sure I did made it sure that my lye and my oils were about 110 degrees Fahrenheit or under. I have different opinions on like how hot it can be, but for this method right here, I'm doing traditional cold process soap making. And for you, if it's your first time making soap, then you really want to give yourself plenty of working time. And one of the ways to do that is to let your temperatures get lower like that. Now, what I didn't show you was the amount of time it takes for them to get lower. Like in the video, it's just like magic. It's just like immediately, oh, I can use it. That's not how it is. There was definitely about an hour of time that elapsed from me pouring the lye and heating up my oils and stuff until they were ready. And yeah, so don't be fooled by that. Into that little container over there, I have some oil already in it, and I'm putting... Oh, okay, here's what happened. Okay, into the purple one is oil, and it is a neon pigment. So I'm hydrating it in oil first because otherwise neons can be really difficult to work with. They won't like disperse really well. And even if you do this, sometimes they don't disperse really well. It's not quite as a big deal for the sponges, but yeah. Okay, and then into the white one, it was water and water-soluble titanium dioxide. Because for this batch, because these are hearts, and we have rainbow oval sponges, right? And I do those pink Roy G. Biv, except instead of red, we do pink. So I do those Roy G. Biv, and I was like thinking in my head, I was like, I want these pink heart sponges. I only have one color, which is pink. All the pink heart sponges only come in one color, pink. So I only have one color, pink. I want to see if I can turn them different colors. And you can. Kind of depending on the pigment you use, you can saturate them and have different colors that you can turn your sponges. So for this one, I put that purple in, and then I put the titanium dioxide because I was like, in my head, I was like, I want these to be pastel because the conversation hearts for Valentine's Day are kind of pastel. So I'm going to make it pastel. But here's what happens. It ends up being like almost pink. Like it wasn't enough of a difference to really tell the difference. And at the end of this video, I wrap some heart sponges just to show you how to do that, but it's not these. So don't be fooled by the sad gray ones at the end. I'll show you a picture of what these actually ended up looking like. And this fragrance oil I'm using is Lush Honeydew from Natural Bulk Supplies. It performed really, really well in cold process. There we go. Lush Honeydew, is that what I said? Yeah, okay. So one of the key things for Soapy sponges is that, okay, I have all my sponges in a container ready to go. I'm not gonna, like, when my batter's ready, I need to pour it immediately. I don't have time to be fussing around with the string, which is why I took the strings off before this even started. I don't have time to be figuring out what containers I'm gonna be putting them in. I don't have time to like sit there and try to find things. Like you have to be working fast. And especially for this one, because I think I did six. Oh, I did do 6. Well, yeah. Don't do more than 6. I have done 10 before at a time. I just felt like I was like fighting for my life to get them all in there on time. So yeah, I suggest doing 6 at a time. And what I do, like I need to make a bunch of sponges. So I don't have time to sit there and make like 6 and then make 6. So I just like line them up. So all my batches are prepped and it's like bam, 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 bam. So, when I say like only make 6 at a time, just like in little quick sessions, And then you want your batter to be really fluid, really, really fluid. You see how when I'm pouring it on top of my soap, it's like, it's starting to thicken up just a tad now, but it is still really liquidy and really thin. And I like to pour, as you can see, I like to pour some of the batter straight onto the sponges as I'm getting them like queued up. And part of the reason for that is that they're already soaking up some of that soap for me. So I do like to do that. I do things a tiny bit differently now than when I made this video. Like I have like a slightly different way of how I squish the soap in. It's really not that big a deal. But yeah. You don't have time to be fussing around. So each sponge weighs a slightly different amount. So it can be hard if you're using grams to get like the exact weight correct. Like later, if I go to check, once I have all my soap batter on and I need to check, it can be a little bit confusing. So I'm actually weighing it out by ounces right now. I know. I don't normally do that. Normally I have it weighed out by grams, but it was much easier if I did it by ounces in this specific situation. And each sponge I'm weighing out is exactly... Let me tell you about this, okay? Each sponge is exactly weighed out to 6 ounces because I wanted these to be 5.5 ounces. And there is a whole lot of drama around this, and this is something new that I didn't discover until I started selling them. So I did so much research for the ebook, but I never really weighed them to see how they cured and stuff, because I found that they didn't need to cure, which is this whole other side story that we'll get into. Oh, look, I knew it. See, I knew it. I knew it was more than 6. Like, we got 7 on there right now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure at the end of this, I'm like, sweating my tits off trying to get all that soap in there. It's a little bit too much. Don't do this many. Okay, so yeah, what we were saying before this was that the weight thing. So okay, yeah, and then start squishing the soap into the sponge. Okay, there, that's all the instruction you need. Now let me talk about this curing thing, because it is a conundrum for me. So the first time I made some soapy sponges, no, it wasn't the first time. It was just like they had been made for a minute. And my husband one day, he's like, hey, do you know that these are all underweight? And I was like, what? So this was with the oval sponges that we have, the oval rainbow sponges. And he was like, yeah, these are all underweight. So I was like, oh man, that's like terrible. So we had to pull them, relabel them, and change all the information on our website and all that stuff. And so I was like, that's weird. I guess, here's the thing. I'm ADHD. You might not have known that, but now you do. I'm ADHD. And so I was like, maybe because I weighed them by grams. And so I was like, maybe when I did the grams, I mismeasured, because the sponges all have like slightly different weights in the grams. And so maybe I mismeasured. And so I did another batch, and same thing, they all ended up being underweight. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I'm not giving myself like enough. Okay, so what I thought was, maybe it's because I'm measuring it in grams, right? And my little brain is like, oh no, I can't remember 158 grams or whatever it is. I can only remember 6 ounces. So, that's when I switched to doing it by ounces. And still, they were coming up short for what they should weigh. And I think I did a third, because I was like, well, maybe I was just like distracted on that one. Like, I was super stressed out. I had like so much going on in November and December of 2025. So I was like, I just probably didn't pay attention. And so I did a third one. And once again, they were freaking underweight. And I was like, okay, now this time, like, I know this is not just me. Like, something is going on here. And I actually asked Amanda, I was like, what do you think is happening here? Because like, I cannot figure out why this would be going like this. Like, why is it underweight? Like, I've given it, and you do need to give your soap like a little bit extra, because as it cures, it's going to lose water weight, and some of that's going to evaporate. And so it's going to be like, it's going to lose some weight. Like, that's expected within the soap world. And I know for my soaps, after curing them, they lose between 0.2 to 0.15, or 0.15 to 0.2 ounces. I don't know how many grams that is. I'm sorry. That's how much they lose. And so when I'm formulating, that's what I'm factoring in, that they're going to lose that much. And so when I'm adding 6 ounces of soap to these heart sponges and oval sponges and all this stuff, I'm adding 6 ounces because I expect them to be able to be sold at 5.5 ounces. But I was like, nah, because I did that, first, second, third. I did it 3 times. And I kept up in the ante each time as to like how much extra batter I was giving it, and it still wasn't happening. And this became a huge concern for me. A very quiet concern that I kept to myself, because I was like, ooh. But I'm telling you now. I'm telling you right now.
But I am telling you right now.
Okay, I'm telling you now what's going on so that you can be aware. And I wasn't aware of this as I was writing the ebook, like I said, because I didn't cure it. We'll go into that. But so my guess to Amanda, I was like, what I think might be happening is that because the crystalline matrix of the soap is so spread out, it's so dispersed in the sponge, there's more surface area for the water to be evaporating from. And she was like, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too. And so she was like, why don't you, she's so smart. She's so smart sometimes. She was like, why don't you keep batch logs of it. Like, I do keep batch logs, but she meant like, why don't you like do, because when you're first like starting to make soap and you need to know how much it cures, you basically put like a postcard underneath the bar and you weigh it every week to see how much it loses. And so I did that. And to my shock and horror, the first week, these lost like 0.6 ounces. They were already underweight at that point. I was like, what the heck? So I'm saying all that to say there's still 6 ounces of soap in there, I think. It's just that it evaporates out, I think. Do yourself a favor and keep track of that for your batches to figure out how much weight it's going to lose. Okay, let's look at these sponges. And you can see right now, I'm not fighting for my life. I think that is me being a little bit overdramatic, but it is definitely getting to be more work to get that soap in. And this was a very well-behaved batter. So this is why I'm saying, like, you need to make sure that your batter stays super fluid, that you pour it when it's fluid, that your fragrance oil works for you and does not accelerate trace or anything like that. If you are a baby soap maker and you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, that's okay. We got you. We have Love and Soap Studio. That's Amanda's other business. We just bought, Bath Fizz and Foam just bought the Soap Challenge Club. Yeah. So we have a ton of resources there. It is a great place to learn more about soap making and just kind of all the ins and outs of it. And if you're thinking like, oh, I'm not good enough to do that yet, like, don't think that. Don't think that. Just start doing it to learn. Just start doing it to learn. Don't do it to win anything or anything like that. Just start doing it to learn, and you're going to be amazed at how much you learn, okay? Let's talk about the cure or the not curing of it all. Okay, so when I was making the ebook, okay, I put some of the freshly made sponges, they were like 24 hours old, 48 hours old, something like that. I put them in my, I'm using a pan here that has freezer paper. It is lined with freezer paper. Do not ever put cold processed soap where it is going to contact aluminum. Do not do that. It creates a like gas that's like not from your ass, but it's still bad. Yeah, okay, so when I was testing these, I put them in my bathroom. They were really fresh, like 48 hours old. And my husband comes out and he's like, those soap sponges worked great. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh yeah? How does your skin feel? And he's like, my skin feels great. It feels super exfoliated and soft and la la la. And I was like, okay. But I was super nervous because most of the time, and look, I'm probably going to go to soap jail for what I'm about to say, okay? But, well, I'm going to go to soap jail for this whole ideology I'm about to present to you. Regular bar soap, cold processed soap, it does need a cure. There is a noticeable difference between how look at me struggling right here. I need to get a new wire for my natural shrink wrap machine thingy. Just watch me struggle for a minute while I talk about this. Regular bar soap does need to cure. I think that there is a noticeable difference from regular bar soap between when it's freshly made and when it cures. It also helps it last longer. It just creates a more mild, gentle soap that is longer lasting. And overall, it's just the accepted practice, okay? And it is the practice I practice. I practice what I preach is except in this, because we did find that the soapy sponges could be used almost immediately. Like within 48 hours, we were able to, like, as long as they were hard. Because of the recipe I used, the palm, the coconut, and all that stuff, they were hard right away. So because they're hard, as long as that was happening, we could use them, and they were fine on our skin. Like our skin, honestly, our skin felt great. So send me to jail, okay? Send me to jail. I'm telling you, they don't really need a cure. And I think that's good to know because a lot of people make these soapy sponges with melt and pour soap because they're concerned about the cure, and it is kind of annoying that you're going to have to cure them for this amount of time. But I've just found that is not necessarily necessary. I will say that obviously, just like any bar cold process soap, like the longer it sits out and cures, then like the harder the soap is going to be. And so the better the soap will be. No, the longer. Yeah, it's going to last longer. So I have found that to be true. But like when I'm saying I give them a cure now, like I just leave them on my curing rack for like a week and then I wrap them up. Like I don't give them a very long cure. It's wild. It's crazy. I know. But that's my takeaway. You can still cure them if you want to, if it makes you more comfortable to give them a full 4 to 6 week cure. Go for it. I'm just here to tell you it's not necessary. And if we circle back to the weight loss thing, I think that is part of it. Okay? Because it's losing so much weight so fast. Like, hold on. Okay, I'm bringing the receipts for you. I'm looking on my phone for the picture. December 17th, these were my tester ones when I was trying to figure out what's going on. I made they weighed 6 ounces. This is with the sponge, with the string, everything, 6 ounces. And they were 170 grams. Okay. No, this is with the sponge and the soap inside of it. Not the string. I do tear out the string though. Okay. I'm going to show you the picture so you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, they weighed 6 ounces exactly. January 2nd, that is about 2 weeks later, they weighed 5.4 ounces. That is a significant amount of weight loss in a very short time. But it is now January something else. Oh, it's only January 8th right now. So what I'm about to tell you right now is not very credible. But I weighed this morning and it was still at 5.4. So I'm kind of wondering if that is like how much weight it's going to lose, because when we were doing them, that's about what was happening. Like when my husband was telling me that the weights were off, that's about what was happening. So yeah, I'm kind of wondering, like, because the matrix is spread out, it's losing all that weight like super quick, but then it's not losing any more after that. I don't know. Okay, let's go to what I'm talking about, like I'm actually doing on here. I'm using the National Shrink I'm using the National Shrink Wrap system to wrap my sponges. I love it because I have enough room to put these thick-ass sponges. I know some of y'all's, when I was wrapping them and you saw I only put 2 in a row, in your head, you were like, nah, you can fit more in there, but you really can't because of the height of them. And I think that you can see that from the video. And then I used my little wand thing to seal them off. And then I initially hit them with my heat gun just to kind of get them started. And I leave them puffy. And then I give them a second to kind of cool off. And then I come back and I do all the edges. I'm spraying. I'm heating those edges and then I'm rolling it on the table to make sure that there's no sharp little points left. And so the reason that I let them cool off a little bit is that the shrink wrap will be stronger once it's been heated. So if it heats and cools off, the shrink wrap is actually stronger after that. So I need it to be a little bit stronger so it doesn't pop when I'm kind of going around those like edges. And then you'll see that sometimes I go and I create like a tiny little hole, and I do that where I know there's going to be a label, because then I can control where the shrink wrap pops, because I don't really want it to pop on a help me. I don't really want it to pop on a seam. I don't really want it to do that. I want it to pop where I want it to, because then I can cover it up with a sticker. So that's what I do. And also the color of these, I know. These were a different batch. This is not the same batch. I had already wrapped the other batch. Okay, this is not the same batch. It's not gray. I refuse to believe that it's gray. It is purple in the right circumstances, okay? So usually with these soapy sponges, they have a string, like a corded string, and you saw that I took that string out, and now instead of using that string, I'm using ribbon, just because all these sponges were different colors. They weren't the original pink color, and so the pink string looked really weird on them. So I just decided to switch it out for that white ribbon, and I think it looks really good. And then I'm using a beading needle. That beading needle, I've had 2 of them now. They stab me. And also I'm just like rough on them. So I ended up just bending, and I think I broke the hook off of it. So I just bended it in half, and then I pop that through the shrink wrap, and then I use those tweezers to help pull it through. I don't do that with the strings. I just do that with the ribbon, just because the ribbon was harder to pull through, and I had made about 1 million of these by this point, so my fingers were tired, and also I had figured out the most efficient way to do it, which was with pulling them through with the pliers. So there you go. So I'm poking the beading needle through, and then if you don't like where it's coming out, you can kind of like go back in and then like fish around for a good spot for it to come out. Just kind of the same way you would sewing, you know? So just kind of looking for like where's the best spot for it to come out. And then, tying on the string. And I used the original string, or tying on the ribbon. I used the original string to measure out the ribbon length so that I knew it would be the right length. And it worked really well. And I'm like really proud of myself. And also you can get beading needles that are already like looped like that. And during Christmas, when my beading needle initially broke, I just took a piece of wire and folded it in half and used it like that. But it does help that it had, I guess it helps that it had that little hook, but then I started using pliers. Maybe that's why I started using pliers. I don't know. Okay, there's a lot involved in this, and I probably didn't do a very good job. Oh, okay, look. Hey, now it's relevant. See that little stringy dingy on the end that's like a little fuzz? Yeah, for all of these ribbons, I actually did this. I used a torch lighter, and I just kind of tickled the end. Like, you don't want to burn it, right? So you don't want to put the flame straight on it. But I just kind of like put it into the ends, because otherwise that ribbon was fraying, and that looked tacky. And we don't like tacky. I mean, sometimes I do though. I think kind of I am tacky, and I like it. Like, I really like bright, stupid colors. So yeah. There was something else I was going to talk to you about, which was the actual ebook. Look, I talk about so much stuff in the ebook: where to find sponges, what to look for in your sponges, how to let them, how to wrap them, how to do like all these like different labels. And in Patreon, I actually uploaded like label templates for our oval sponges. So far, the only video for making soapy sponges has been in Patreon, and I have, obviously I know that there's a need to make it. I'm trying to. My goal for 2026 is to try to get as many polished videos, and we'll put polished in, air quotes, but as many polished videos of our recipes as possible, so that you guys have really good resources to draw from when you are looking for these recipes. A lot of times there's a live stream, a Facebook Live, but I really wanted to make sure that there's polished videos that you guys can look at, just to, so you're not having to deal with me talking, which I do anyways. So there you go. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. I don't know. Come visit us at bathfizandfoam.com. Come visit our Facebook group, Bath Fizz and Foam, Bath Bomb Cosmetic Support thing. Come visit us at the Soap Challenge Club, soapchallengeclub.com. And visit Love and Soap Studio and Scandalous Soap, where you can get the sponges, baby. I forgot to say that. Happy making. Mwah.